All right, good afternoon. Welcome back. Post break, we have our lovely panelists for the second panel to talk more about skate culture and where we think it's going and the connection between elder and younger generations. So I'm Abra Johnson, by the way. I'm from Honey Pot Performance, from the Chicago Black Social Culture Map. I am going to give you a little information from their bios. And then Justine and Passion are going to moderate. Justine and Passion are from HP Skate Meetup. So they are also our co-organizers of the day, so we want to keep reminding you of that. So let's get to the bio, shall we? I'm going to remind you that we're going to have some food and snacks in the basement after this panel. So it'll be nachos, gyros, aka gyros. We're doing a skate workshop with Batsmoke. So if you want to learn how to put some skates on and learn how to roll a little bit in those skates, you can. And then there will be the open skate at 2:45. So that's in the basement. Just go straight down the stairs. Okay, so let's start with DJ Bam. You're first on my list. Can you raise your hand so we know who you are? So DJ Bam is a beloved and established DJ and producer right here in Chicago, especially among the JB skater set. And in our local skate scene. So this is what I've heard repeatedly from people who skate, get Bam to do it. With over two decades of experience and inspired by the legendary house DJ and producer Ron Hardy. If you don't know, you better ask somebody who Ron Hardy is. DJ Bam is known for his Frankenstein DJ style, pulling and mixing from a wide array of musical genres and styles, and using a chronology of DJ equipment and techniques from over the last 3 decades. Welcome, DJ Bam. We're glad to have you. Joshua, I feel like you don't need an introduction. Can you raise your hand again? So Joshua Smith, better known by his skating and entertainment name Batsmoke or Batman, is an elite roller skater, choreographer, performer, trainer, SAG mentor, the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker in the skate scene. So he's best known for his role in the award-winning skate documentary, United Skates. If you haven't seen it, please go stream it from Hulu. It is fantastic. It's also on HBO Max. His most recent work is with the new Disney production, Saturdays. Have you guys been watching Saturdays? You should go watch it on Disney. As the assistant choreographer, skate trainer, and casting associate. We also, Maida and I, worked with Josh on 1919 Steppenwolf play from last fall. It was actually voted best new stage play in the city from last year. Just not to toot our own horn, but to just toot our own horn. So we worked as co-choreographers, and Josh choreographed the skate in the play. He's also collaborated on Power Book, Force, Empire, The Shy, Chicago PD, am I wrong? Chicago Fire, all the Chicago TV shows on NBC. And when he's not performing, traveling, or working on the set, his time is spent teaching skate lessons and serving as a consultant, advisor in the skate community, and skating in local rinks around the Chicago area. Seed, can you raise your hand so we know who you are? Seed Lynn is writer, imagist, and artist, submits that listening is a liberatory practice. I love that. Whether sensually, technically, or artfully applied, he views the lens as an altered state where listening and witnessing make voice meaningful. This light invades work, frames subjects honestly, and creates new space where stories find students. Your own studies concern how we remember ourselves, how memory is imaged, and how remembrance itself in the face of oppression is a healing act of love and protest. Thank you for being here. We love to have you. I'm going back to, can you have our bio for Calvin Small? Also rarely needs an introduction. Mr. Small, can you raise your hand? I see you have one of the first daguerreotypes of pictures that were created. We're just joking. Calvin Small, Mr. Small, is 65 years old and has been skating since 1967. If you would like to do that math for yourself, that's over 55 years in the roller skate community. You are an institution and an icon. Mr. Small is one of the originators of Chicago's own unique JB skate style and culture, which has won numerous awards. #2 in artistic team skating, #1 in freestyle through the 90s, the America's Got Talent 2018 nomination, and Chicago Emmy Award in 2015, the first ever in roller skating. And Mr. Small was responsible for that. Among numerous other rewards. We're so happy to have you. And he also brought many pictures and archives from over the last 5 decades. So we're looking forward to looking through those, maybe if you want to look through them yourselves. And I'm going to turn it over to our illustrious moderators. Justine, raise your hand. And Passion from HP Skate Meetup. If you guys, I hope you guys got an introduction about HP Skate Meetup or no? Yes, no? You guys get to introduce yourselves. Tell us about what you do. Thank you. Enjoy your
Hello. Want to thank everybody for being here today on this lovely Saturday. I am Justine Ingram. I am the organizer of HP Skate Meetup. We are based in Humboldt Park. We're a grassroots group that essentially wants to use skating as a liaison for community building. Community building and recreation is so important in our neighborhoods, especially in our South and West Side neighborhoods. So our focus is to use it as a tool. And with that, I will let Passion talk a little bit about herself.
Hey, I'm Passion. I am affiliate of HP Skate Meetup, and I also have my own organization, Love Girl Skate Club. I am new to the Chicago skate scene, but I come from LA. I am from Chicago, and I focus on pretty much roller skating fitness and also just using myself as a vessel to spread roller skating, the culture, and keep it just alive.
All right, and with that, we will kick off the panel. So before we delve, I guess, into Chicago skate culture and style here, we touched a bit on it in the first panel. One of the things I want to know is how did you all get introduced into the skate world, and what attracted you to it? What kept you kind of coming back? And we'll start with you, Calvin.
Hi, how you doing? I got involved in roller skating through my parents. My parents did it, their parents did it, but we did it in gymnasiums, organ music, stuff like that. We didn't have another avenue as far as going to different places to do certain things. Our activity was like going to the drive-in maybe on the weekend. Okay, and that was probably about it. Bowling alleys weren't really, out there for us. And so we did roller skating because that was a family thing. It was a big family thing. And people say roller skating is now coming back. It never left. It never, ever, ever left. So we always have to remember that it's not coming back. You all are just coming to it. Okay?
You better come on. I got into it. I used to live downtown. My mother was a double amputee, and when I was younger, I couldn't keep up with her electric wheelchair. So I used to follow behind her on rollerblades, trying to jump off curbs and whatnot. And then one day she was like, "You can't do those tricks in rollerblades." So she gave me a pair of Chicago's, and then I went to MLK skating rink and got made fun of because they were Chicago's until the community brought me in and got me abreast. And that's how I started going to Rinks, and then there were girls there and food and music, and then I started learning, and then and then ever since then I fell in love with the art, and now here we are.
Hi, good afternoon. I got into roller skating. I didn't have anybody to teach me. Came home from college, didn't have anything to do. and some said Saturday night at Markham Roller Rink. Hey boys, let's go. Y'all always want to be in my car. You ain't got no gas money. Let's go skating. And I remember I come from a music background. I was a musician all the way up through college. And when I saw and heard this funk, this rhythm, and I watched what it made skaters do. Okay. For me, I was in marching band in the Black College. So if our music as a musician made them do that to people in the stands, which halftime was game time, this is what it does to skaters. So from being a musician to skating, this is what it makes you feel. I got into it. And my first pair of skates was a pair of rental skates that they didn't take my shoes that night. So, and I still got those skates to this day. And Calvin, you know, Chicago 9A plate, heaviest skate you can buy. And I've been skating for 23 years now. And I didn't skate when I was a kid.
Y'all hear me? Okay, cool. It helps when you turn it on. I think I've been introduced and reintroduced to skating like a few times because there was never like a through line where I just stayed in the rink. It's always been these little pockets. So the first time, I know I was young, and I think my parents had got divorced, and my father found himself a new bachelor with all kind of options. And them options were possible when you dropped your kids off at the rink, because you knew you could leave them there for 4, 5, 6 hours and they would be safe. You know, you just give them some cousins and friends to play with, and you know, he go play backgammon and go see a man about a dog, whatever that means. So that's how I know I got introduced to the rink. The second time was more deliberate because it was like high school. So in the 90s, I don't know if y'all remember them talent shows we used to have, and you would get together with your friends and be in the garage with the mirrors up, and y'all be working on your little moves and stuff like that. So the rink ended up being like our auditorium, like our practice place. So we would go to the rink and beeline past all the skaters and go right to the middle where the DJ was. And we would just be practicing all of our little dance moves. I'm an Indianapolis native. Maybe I should have led with that. Indianimals. And we had a particular style of dance. It was kind of like gangster walking. Like we thought we were like alphas, Qs, and kappas, but we weren't. But we would dance like they did without doing their actual moves. We just add our own little sexy stuff. So that was really the allure of the rink, was a place where we could go, be, dance. Our communities were heavily policed. There weren't a lot of spaces we could be. You go to the mall, the police following you. You go downtown, the police following you. But the rink was ours, and we could be at the east or the west side rink, and you just knew it was going to be a good time. So I'll save my third introduction for later. Thank you.
All right, next question. So you all have different roles and professions within the skater community, specifically Chicago skater community or other communities. Basically, what do you get to experience within the skating community that is unique to your role and profession? What do you learn within the community? How does it, how do you put it all together?
As far as putting things together in the community, if that's your question, I'm hoping I'm understanding your question.
Basically, how do you, I'm sure you do professional things within the skating community now, right? How do you learn, how do you make that exist? How do you learn from the community to make that exist? And what do you use from, other things in your life within skating to make it a profession?
Well, in the community, what we do in the community, first off, we learn a lot from just the kids alone, because once we get the kids into the building, we learn how to treat each other first, okay? We have to learn how to treat each other because God knows out there in the street, They don't know how to treat each other. Second off, we give the kids discipline. We give the kids structure. We give them different things, and we also make them safe. And in the same breath, they teach us how to love, because a lot of us don't know how to love on each other or befriend each other. Now, if you look into the skate community, I can go to California, and as long as I'm skating, my skate family is there, I don't even know them. They'll come over to me, hey skater, da-da-da-da-da. And we're talking like we've been knowing each other for 20 years. So it gives you a lot of open-heartedness, if that's a word. It gives you a lot of sense of feeling for each other, in a sense, to where we're not here killing each other, taking each other's cars, robbing each other, and things like that. Those are the things that are really important for our kids, especially because they're into a lot of mischief. So as long as we can get them inside the roller rink, we can grow. We can grow our kids. We can grow our kids and make them safe. And that's pretty much what I get out of the community, and helping the community in a sense, because they need structure, and some of us need to learn how to love. So that's what I get out.
Personally, I think what the community has given me has taught me more about me and my own internal demons and my own internal, where it helps me to be self-evaluate a little bit more. I know we always typically say we want to live a specific dream. They say if you do something that you love, or if you turn something that you love into work, it's never really work. And we all have dreams, but skating, so blessed and fortunate where skating has become an outlet to where it used to just be an outlet in therapy, and then I decided to take a leap and turn that into a full profession. And it's a very difficult niche. It's very difficult to do something, but for you to take roller skating and make that a lifestyle where you could pay your bills and live off of it, is a wonderful thing. So I think it taught me not to be afraid of following my dreams, no matter what the cost, because this is something that I truly want to do the rest of my life, and it's never worked. So I think the biggest thing that I learned, or that the community has given me, has helped me build the confidence from starting from scratch, building my confidence in the community, just to be able to take it outside the community and actually become whoever it is that God wants me to be, and allowing me to be a vessel to give back to everybody else. So my position and my status, or whatever people position me as, is not because I did something spectacular or I did some type of crazy move. It's literally because of my service back to the community. So these people up here have the respect and love and the ear of the community globally, not because of something that we've done, but because of how we've given back, whether it has been, we've paid people's rent, and, when they were in trouble, or we getting people rides, or everything, advice, or, anything. So just like I said, the skate world is its own world in its own. Once you leave those doors, that's it. You back to reality. But at least in that space, you can come get some spiritual guidance, whatever the case is, and I'm glad to be a vessel to be able to do that. So, yeah.
I think what the community skate culture has given me is a sense of purpose. Like I mentioned before, I was a musician. I got burnt out. I got burnt out playing the horn. In the state of Illinois, I was #1 tuba player my senior year of high school. I was sought after, but I still had demons, like Josh said, exercise your demons. I was still looked at as, you're not better than the alumni that came before you. You don't have the practice etiquette. Skate world gave me another avenue that I became a skater, but I was still a musician at heart. So at Markham roller rink, and I would still say that name forever, I would not be a skater, I would not be a DJ if it wasn't for Markham. And my first teacher, DJ Dennis the Menace, I will forever shout that name. I've had male mentors my whole life. I had my father my whole life. But professionally, my DJing has took me to states and different cities I never thought I would be in. Right now, I have a session here at home, Glenwood Roller Rink. Last panel, DJ Free mentioned that. Old school Sunday night, 7 to 11. But I also am a staple as a DJ in the skate community in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've been DJing there for almost 8 years now. They welcome me with love because of the nature of how I DJ. And then there's also the skater community, just like Josh and Calvin said, we can go different city in the skate fam. Bro, big bro is what they call me. I'm like, okay. But where it's literally camaraderie, brotherhood, sisterhood. Throughout my years of DJing, I've had my health scares. Before I was 40, I had a stroke. Right now, I sit in front of you with congestive heart failure. But I am a walking testimony because music and skating, I'm so hungry to get back on my skates, and I ain't been on my skates in about 5-6 months. I want to get on them so bad because that's what it does. It fuels you, it drives you. And you know what? The thing about it is, I said, I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't start skating. I don't know. But professionally, personally, if anybody doesn't skate, I literally say whoever watches this panel, watches this discussion on video, if you're here, if you're not a skater, you ain't got to be a cold, artistic, you can do this move, do that move. Just literally, just come skating and just be around for a while. It will entice you. It will feel you. It's something there. And just like Calvin said, skating never died. Y'all just went around for it. It never died. So that that's it for me. It just takes me somewhere. So that's it for me.
Thank you. So my entrance into this conversation is a little different because today, this is my confession, today will probably be the first day that I've skated. And I'm gonna make that commitment here with y'all right now. Okay, I'm gonna make that commitment with y'all right now. I'm gonna act a fool, can be, gonna have it on camera, and the whole world gonna witness. But one of the things that has kept me from getting on my skates is, again, this dance connection. Like, I view skating as a black dance form. The way we skate, it is a black dance form, explicitly. And I'm a dancer that happens to be black. And if I put those skates on and all my little dance moves ain't just automatic, right? If my body just don't move the way I expect it to move, I'm gonna feel like a whole failure, right? I'm gonna feel a little less black, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things that's keeping, but as I've been going into the rinks, more from the lens of a journalist, more of a folk journalist or a citizen journalist, the brothers have been noticing my presence, and everyone likes to be seen and viewed. They love the images that are coming out, and being able to kind of spread that and share that has been, beautiful. But they always hit me with this at the end of the night. Hey, when you gonna roll with us, young brother? You know what I mean? They've been pulling me, so I'm like, all right, I got to get out there with y'all. But as a professional photographer, imagist, there are stories that I'm very interested in hearing and telling, and one is around that connection between space and liberation for black folks. And as everyone here on the panels is iterated in some form or fashion, that's key, that's core, that's part and parcel to why we go to the rink. My version of this before skating was chess. So like Calvin, you're saying you could go anywhere in the community, right? Anywhere in the nation, right? And you can get received when you fall in. It was like that with me and the black chess players, right? I can go to LA, I can go to Miami, I can go to New York, and I can fall in, and we'll know the same people. We're having that conversation. And there's something sacred about that. And I think when we talk about sacred practices, sacred spaces, these are all things that are worthy of study. So within my profession, this wasn't like, oh, this is a subject. This is kind of like the subject. Like, I can go to the rink, I can go to chess, I can go to carnival, and I can see everything that is beautiful, that is radical, that is spiritual, that is holy about being black and black embodied in that one form. So when I'm at the rink, I'm literally feel like I'm beholding all of creation. I'm seeing God, I'm seeing, you know what I mean, the ancestors, I'm seeing the future. Like, it is all there. The rink is a cosmos to me. And I'm in there with the eyes of a child, just high, right? So in relation to the profession and making like a lane, this is the thing for me right now. There's really nothing but the rink and our world within it. Yeah.
So thank you all for sharing kind of the impact of skating and what the skating community has done for you. I don't think people understand how empowering skating is. You know I've been out before and told people that I organize a skate meetup, and they're like, oh, that's cute. And I'm like, cute? What do you mean cute? Like, and this is someone who can't even, I'm a beginner level skater, so I really don't think that people fully understand how connecting skating is. And with that, so Bam and Seed, I actually have a question for you all. So as a DJ and a journalist in the skate community, you maybe like experience things or get to like see things that skaters may not. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I would say the one thing for a skate DJ, what a DJ booth is, we see everything. We see who trying to talk to who trying to skate couples, who trying to get the nightcap, who trying to learn the skate moves from who emulates another skater, and who's having trouble, who's having success. I got my man Josh here. I remember when he first skated. Just like he said, he had rollerblades. What was it, 2008? Was it 5? I worked at MLK 4 different times, so I forgot. So the one thing for me is, especially when it comes to the Chicagoland area, the surrounding suburbs, I've DJed at so many skate rinks. And that's another thing I want to touch on, where I've only been skating since 2000. Calvin has been skating double that time for me. But I've seen so many roller rinks close. Now, there are skate rinks that some people know of and some people don't. Rainbow. Touched on it last panel. Rainbow closed in 03. Route 66 closed when, y'all? Oh. 08, 09. Route 66 was right off 67th and King Drive. Then you have a skate rink most people probably don't even know if you're not from the south suburbs, called Starflyer. It was in South Chicago Heights. Most people don't even know it's a South Chicago Heights. They just know Chicago Heights in those suburbs. Then there was Joliet. There was USA in Romeoville. Yeah. There was Orbit in Palatine, Illinois. Just recently, there was a skate rink in Bloomington, Illinois. There are skate rinks that I've DJed at all over the state. And the one thing for me, the way I look at it, that I've been in all these places, and that's the one thing most skaters don't see. Unless you from that town, that area, they don't see all of a sudden, this skating rink is gone. And that's why I thank you, Justine, for you having a skate thing here or in Humboldt Park. We in the soccer cage? Where we're outside, we're inside. It's not just to be on a skate floor. It's bigger than that. Then there's, like I said, there's other roller rinks that people don't know. Like, nobody knows about any skate rink that was in the north suburbs, which is North Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion, where it was Magic City in Waukegan. Then there was Park Avenue in Zion. Right, all those different skate rinks, and just for me, the ones that I know that you don't know. Then in the past, you have, since we on the west side of Chicago, Hot Wheels, North Avenue. There's another one I was taught by another skater that I can't remember the name of it right now. I was, unfortunately, I'm not that old enough to know what it is. Foxy Wheels, it's, you got different skating rinks. I mean, I literally have to think that Chicago had the most skating rinks out of any city in this nation. And if somebody's watching it, they can find me, find me on Facebook, find me on social media, and you can make that argument. But to say how many skating rinks we have have we now, and the skating rinks we have from the past, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful thing. So, that's just my thought on that.
That's a really great question. And I've been sitting over here pontificating, and I still don't know what's about to come out of my mouth. But here it go. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who reads a lot more than I do. And he was citing, in this conversation we were having, an essay, and I think the name of it was "The Ceremony Must Be Found." And I think that's what I'm seeing, is that we have found a ceremony in the rink and in the rink culture. And I don't know, I can ask the question, right? And y'all feel free to answer. I don't know when you are the ceremony itself if you see it at the same time, right? Because I'm on the other side of the veil, right? I'm seeing the ceremony, and now my arc is to become the ceremony, right? And that's why we're gonna put these skates on in about 25 minutes. So I'm curious, like, do you see all that is at the rink, right? When you're being it, when you're inducting yourself, initiating yourself, can you hold all that this like ballet is, all these forms of individual expression and definition that are happening, because to me it is almost overwhelming, right, to take it all in. It's also overwhelming in the sense that we are taught often that this kind of like culture or like high art form are things we have to seek outside of our community. No one tells you go around the corner and find it at the rink, right? That Beethoven is happening at the rink, right? Okay, that Basquiat is happening at the rink. Like whatever you hold is the highest form of art that is happening in our neighborhood at the rink. Every Thursday, every Saturday, like it's happening, it's there. So I just want to kind of ask y'all, do you feel that way? Can you be it and witness it at the same time? What's that like for y'all?
We definitely are vibranium, and as we slowly unplug ourselves from the matrix, you get to realize what it is when you do see it. You have to. The reason why the skate world is so indulging is that you get to lose yourself while you're in it. So that's why, while being in the ceremony, you can't recognize that you are the ceremony unless you've actually beat the game, and now you get to replay it again as another character, if that makes any sense. So I say that to say is that when you're in it, and you're just like, say for instance, when you're about to put your skates on and you're about to be immersed in one level of your own self, of I don't want to fall. Do these skates fit? You know, your mindset is in specifically right in the moment of where you are. It's going to be impossible for you to think about, you know, it's impossible for you to think about anything else other than that. But once you start, you know, taking yourself out of the skate world and while being in it, then you can actually see the ceremony while creating the ceremony. Then you figure out different ways. How to create your own ceremony. You create it within yourself. Then you watch what it is that you do in your own world. Like, say, for instance, it comes into so small subcultures. I create my own ceremony if I'm crazy legging on the practice floor with my own, just in my own zone. I don't see anybody. It's like the skate Holy Ghost. I don't see anything. Then all of a sudden I'll look up and see how my ceremony has attracted you to stop what you're doing to watch what I'm doing. I've made you a part of I made you a part of mine. And then while you are raveling or at all what it is that I may or may not be doing, it's not even what I'm doing because you're doing the same thing. You recognize it. It's just you're at all at the way I'm expressing myself in this moment. So, yeah, it's possible, but it takes you have to literally search yourself to find that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in a place where you're hungry enough to want to learn the art of it rather than the doing of it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, the OG got something to say.
Okay, yeah, I just picked it up. Okay, and also towards the question that she had asked in the very beginning, a DJ's job is very, very, very strenuous, very hard, very hard. I did it since '76. I've been doing it forever myself. But I want to skate more than I ever want to DJ, so I skate. But I DJ in the emergency purposes, or if I have to, or sometimes I make my own little setup. But the thing is, a DJ's job is very hard, and a skater don't understand that. They pressure you, play this, play that, play this. It's not an easy job, but you have to try and appease everybody so they see everything like they just said. They see everything, but it's just hard to play every song. You only got about 80 songs to play in a session. They're looking for 300, okay? So you have to do the best job that you can do. Some days you're gonna satisfy everybody, some days you are not. When Herb Kemp, we hired Herb Kemp when he was first starting out DJing. He'll tell you that on the radio if he was alive. Now, he said it many times at Screaming Wills. He sat on the side of the skate floor and played the turntables right there, sitting in a little chair on a table. And he found that job to be very, very hard. The Ragman's the guy that owned Hot Wheels roller rink over on the west side of Chicago. We had him for his first job. Then he went on the WWCA. So these guys, big name guys we've hired some of these new age DJs to the roller rink themselves. And they came and we trained them. I trained them most of the time myself. And they've had the job for a hot second. Found out they couldn't do it. Ramonski Love couldn't do it. None of them could do it because it was too hard to please the skater, because the skaters is your hardest critic. So if you can get one session with the skaters as a DJ, you betting 1,000, because they're very hard on a DJ, very hard. Most DJs fail, okay? We still got a few that are hanging in there because they're doing their thing, but it's not easy. So give them the credit that they deserve, because if they up there and they still up there next week, and the next week, and the next week, they doing something right, okay? That's the thing that we have to look at for our DJs.
I'm gonna touch on what Calvin just said. A lot of DJs that are out here, especially in the Chicagoland area, have tried to come to do skating. I'm sorry. Let's just keep it 100. I've seen DJs come. They known on the radio, they known for parties, they known for clubs. Try to come spin these JBs. Ooh, get out of here. That's the reaction, what he just did. It's hard. Just like Calvin said, what, 80, 70, not even 80, it's not even 80 songs. But everybody, can you play this, can you play that, can you play this, can you play that? I got a shirt right now that says, request $30. Stupid request, $60. stupid request and play it just next because it's so stupid, $100. It's a sure I found it. Trust me, it's a whole gag with it. But literally, and we all say this, we say skate culture, but it's a subtitle for us in Chicago as JB culture. This is a part of our lives. And as a JB DJ, it's tough.
Just to spin the block back to his real quick, this sub-bridge, sub-arc, often, and then us as the skaters who are engulfed in the world or who are engulfed in the skate world when they're in that session, they are looking for the DJ to trigger them to get into their own zone when they have not,
Yes,
when they are not in
yes.
the mindset of coming in there, of being in that energy, in that space themselves. So it puts more pressure on the DJs, like, oh, the DJ has to do all this extra work when the skater is looking for the DJ to put them in that zone or to put them in that place of therapy when you're supposed to come into the rink with that clear mind space of therapy on their own. So not only do they have to deal with the DJ wanting to put on a good performance, they have to deal with all the emotions of everybody else that have not come into the rink and recognized it's you. You coming in here, you rolling is your problem. It's your problem. You know what I'm saying? So subconsciously, when the ceremony part, some people, it's so difficult, which is one thing you'll see if you ever go to a session, skaters when they skate and there's no camera and they're in the zone, it's a different skater than when the camera's on them and they got to put on a show. The difference in ceremony. You know what I'm saying? And they're looking for the DJ to, trigger that for them. Luckily, like he said, in our culture, we have certain songs that trigger us, like Soul Power 74.
Split song. So you asked
Question.
ceremony, right? The DJ is the master of ceremony.
That part.
We're the master. Short it down, we're the DJ, we're the MC, master of ceremony. Because we have to do all the announcements. We have to say this. If you blocking somebody in, can you come move your car? It's ladies only, men only, backwards, couples, trios, reverse backwards. We got to say all that. Oh, we got 2 for $1 hot dogs. We need somebody to the skate room. Calvin to the skate room. we when you say the ceremony is literally the DJs. You come in as an individual, like you said, whatever emotion you have, and we're all human. We all got families. We all got jobs. We all got whatever is on our shoulders. And we come in the skate rink and we want to release it. Y'all hard on DJs. All y'all skaters, I don't care. I'm going to say it. And to the skaters that became DJs, y'all got to see, y'all got to taste that elixir of what we have to go through. But saying...
Did he say elixir?
Y'all get to see this. So the thing about it is it's just that. You come to the skating rink to release. And like he said, Soul Power 74. But for me, make it funky part 3.
Okay, talking about JB and culture in Chicago, next question is, what is Chicago skate culture? How is it unique? And how do you implement yourself into the Chicago skate culture?
First off, we're the eye candy of roller skating.
Period.
Everybody wants to be like Chicago. Everybody. But it's just one simple thing that sometimes I would like for them not to say JB skating. It didn't start out with JB skating. It didn't start with JB music, okay? It started with it was like disco. It was like Mo Ounce, Led Zeppelin, white music. Billy Squire, people like that. That's what we skate off of. And so it had nothing to do with JB skating. We didn't even use the word JB, okay? So the new schoolers to me wanted to call it JB skating because 74 we went into starting to skate off JB music. That was in 74. In 71, we did it off everything else. I mean, everything. I mean, anything that had the groove, that melody, that make you just like, just bounce, and you feel that, That was the music we skated off of, okay? So it could have been so many songs, hot stuff, stuff like that. So sometimes I wish that they would stop calling, because what are they going to do in 10 years? Remix skating? Is it called remix skating? That's what it's going to be called, because that's all they're skating off of. But now the true old schoolers are still skating off JB music, James Brown music. And the dinosaurs, they're not around that much anymore. The dinosaurs are the people that was around in 71 and physically doing it, not growing up in 71, but was doing it in 71, okay? So this is the thing, that those are the dinosaurs. There's only a few left. It may be six in all around, active. So we lost our remixer skaters. We lost them because the people that were above them didn't teach them. Okay, see, when we were coming and we were doing our thing, we had people under us. We taught them. They had people under them. They taught them. They had people under them. And the one group, that Anton group, I don't know what era that was, but Anton group, they didn't teach the people under them. So I call them renegaders. They run down the floor and they cut down the middle, and they go down the middle of the floor, and they go down the middle of the curve. Now somebody, mind you, might be coming around this way, but they go down the middle trying to thread the needle. Right in front of you, but right in back of the other person. So it's a lot of falls, a lot of mishaps from stuff like that. So they fell off from teaching. So now you have a lot of renegaders. Now they got their own style. They have their own style, which is the remixes. And the remixes, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's very talented, very, very talented. But all of them didn't learn the skate pattern. And a true JB skater could show you how it was really done, okay? Most skaters that call themselves old schoolers, if you see them on YouTube and you see them doing their thing back in the day, those aren't old schoolers. We didn't have video. We didn't have no cameras like that. You might have seen a still picture, but that's all you seen. We didn't have cameras. So if you see some video footage about an old school on YouTube, HBO, Facebook, none of it's real. None of it. So we have to always understand that an old schooler, those are the dinosaurs. I call us all the dinosaurs. Everybody can call themselves a legend. Everybody. Means nothing. But the true dinosaurs, you won't see many of them around. You only see a couple here and there. So we have to understand that JB skating is a groove. When you see somebody out there, once again without the cameras, and you see them grooving out there, don't bother them. Leave them alone. Don't go over there and ask them to go shake their hand. Leave them alone and let them groove. And let them groove. When you see them, just sometimes they got problems. They got problems. They get divorced. Or they whatever. So they came in there to release their stress. When they come in there to release their stress, you're not supposed to bother them. You're supposed to let them go. I got over 600 students, over 600. And they constantly coming at you. Sometimes I just want to roll. I might get about a half hour out of a session just to skate for me.
Barely.
Yeah, just to skate for me. But if I stop moving, just stop. Somebody gonna come over. Okay, so this is the thing. When you see an old schooler roll, let them roll, because that's what they need. They need that roll time, and JB skating, like I said, when you see people skating out there and they in their groove, just let them roll. If they in their zone, let them go, because they don't see you. They don't see you. They in their own little zone. They don't. You could walk in front of them and walk down the side of them. They won't even know you were there, because a skater, they know to just roll. When you see a new schooler, you see arms wailing, you see all this stuff going on. That ain't skating. That's you doing your thing waist down, but all this shooting the nets away from you and stuff like that, that's the stuff you should try and get away from, because now you can't roll next to the person that you're trying to skate with, because you're going to be knock that person out. They're going to knock you out.
I am so triggered.
So what I'm saying, though, is try to be smooth with it. Try and be smooth. Roll and get your flow on. And once you show that, people look at you and say, like, damn. You don't get off the floor and say, damn, I tore their ass up. Oh, sorry. I tore them up. But you patting yourself on the back. You don't. If you got to say all that, you really probably didn't do nothing. But now if somebody come over there and say, man, you was out there grooving, man. Man. And you didn't even know what you did, nothing. You just was out there grooving. That's when you know that you can skate, okay? If you got to pat your own self on the back, you missing a lot. Trust me.
I'm so triggered. I'm a clear up some things, because I think this is what they set us up for, because this is we're on the same performance team. We travel the world. Like, we're on the same team. So you can see the different dynamic. I'm the younger, it is the whatever. And he's the young one. So first point, when he was talking about he wished that we would stop calling ourselves JB skaters. As far as our community is concerned, what made us unique is the fact that we grouped ourselves together in the box. You had to do all this to become a JB skater, but what they don't tell you is that you really can't leave it either. You know what I'm saying? So once you do all these things and now you're officially dubbed a JB skater, then you're included with all the other skaters that come to these sessions on the regular, but then afterwards, the moment you do something that's not JB-ish or in the realm of what it is that they're doing, then you're no longer one of them. So it works two ways. On one side, it gives a sense of inclusion, and on the other side, it also gives a lot of people the sense of protection. So for some people, they want to be JB skaters because it gives them a sense of protection, because so many people just in the world are so comfortable being comfortable that standing by themselves is too scary for them to be their own individual artists. So JB provides a safe haven, not just the culture, but the style itself provides them a safe haven, so where at least if they come up to par with everybody else in their community, then at least they're socially accepted. Then they come into a comfortable or a safe space. That's what some people find to be safe, is like when they get in there. So anybody that comes in, they might have a loud outfit or hair or something, or they're just expressive. Then all of a sudden people are looking at, well, they don't look like us. They don't have their tongue hanging down on their skates. They don't have white laces in their hides, or whatever the case is. You kind of get what I'm saying? So the culture itself is uniformed in a way, from behavior to style to etiquette to how you move. So it is a safe space for a lot of those, but eventually as you continue to grow, you'll have the ability to go in and out of that door. But some people, once they go in, they don't want to leave because of how comfortable and safe it feels. Now when it comes to the flailing of the arms, oh my, triggered. We are now in an era, so like everything he said was absolutely 100% true. Yeah. But now that we started moving into not only a social media era, but a more visible presence. When Calvin speaks of legend, like there are some people that have done legendary things in our community. But one of the biggest arguments that we always have in-house y'all can't have the argument. Nobody else can have the argument in-house but us. Like if you're not in there, you can't talk about it. One of the biggest issues that we have in our community, number one, is documentation. Right? So if I need to hear the stories of where we came from, I can only get it from the guy that's there, the guy that's present, the guy that's been there, that's been through it, the one that helped create it. So that's my only source. You kind of get what I'm saying? But you have a lot of other people that may have been in the building at the same time as this guy, wanting to have and receive the same credit without putting in the same work as this guy. You kind of get what I'm saying? People in our community, a lot of people want credit for attendance. You know what I'm saying? They paid their money to come in and they were just there. But then all of a sudden when if he paves the way and opens the door for me to go do something and bring light back to where I got it from, I try and pay homage to the people that came before me. Now all the other people come out of the woodwork. Well, I was there and that's not how it used to be. Like, what? Where you, here, sir, ma'am, is this on camera? You watching this? Everything that you've done never left the front door, sir, ma'am. So don't expect to get credit from it or for it. It's because of the people that have empowered us or have pushed us on or have, like, I remember being in training for hours with Calvin, back to back, just to get, I have to practice one move 10,000 times just to do it one time on stage, live. And it's because of, you know, the training that we get from our OGs, just to, that's where the root is. That's where the roots are. So when we go out and we're able to do something and bring it back and do it on another platform, that doesn't mean that the skate world gets the credit for it. You kind of get what I'm saying? So one of the different things is there's lack of documentation. When it comes to the flailing arms, we know that the new talent is no talent in social media. And entertainment. The world is entertained by crap. You don't have to be skilled in anything to do something or to make it big in some type of social media aspect or to get paid for your talent. You don't even have to be good. I'm in the industry. I'm a SAG actor. You do not have to be a dope skater to be on Disney. You could be, some people, they can edit and make people, we had stunt doubles. I had to hire doubles for the real skaters, even though the real skaters did it, but still. You don't have to be dope in the industry. They can make you, like, that's the thing about the industry. They can make you whatever it is that they want you to look like. They can make you look cold. But where it lies is where when you see real skaters look at the fake skaters and we like, oh, y'all ain't real because y'all ain't put in the work. So it's different when you see the people that have put in the hundreds of thousands of hours. So the flailing arms come from, wow, I need you to be entertained. Be entertained. You know, you see I get a giggle, whatever the case is. I would never get that if I was smooth and chill. You kind of get what I mean? So now that's where the flailing arms come from. And as far as the etiquette, and as far as the etiquette where the skaters are flying through the middle and the old schoolers, there was a very specific way sessions are run. And there's sessions are run in certain ways, especially with aged immigrant. When you got the old school, or what would be old school to me, or the old school sessions, like his session, there's a very specific etiquette. They skate in a certain way in which they're comfortable. Faster on the outside, slower towards the middle. Groups, or any groups that are three or more, in close choreography, they get to have the wall at any speed, no matter what. So it doesn't matter if they're moving like turtles. If they're three, either in uniform or they're in synchronization, they get the wall, regardless of speed, even though faster on the outside. That's what it is. That's what it is. You start your routines on the back corner and you end them at the front corner. You got 32 to 48 counts from the back corner to the front corner of wherever the audience is to run your routine. Then you go back around and you reset on the back end to come. That's the etiquette. New school have figured out, well, in what we're doing, once I pass you, and say, for instance, if you're at the back wall and when you first get on, if you're at the back wall, once I pass, that's basically it. You don't get to see anything. So new school figured out the different traffic pattern where we skate in an hourglass shape. So if I come off the corner from the back and I start going towards the middle, you still get to see all of my footwork. You still get to see all of my footwork all the way around. If I'm riding the wall all the way, by the time I get a certain way, say, for instance, somebody passed, now in order for me to watch. What was the rest of the routine? I didn't see it, but you kind of get what I'm saying. That's what people have to do, especially if we're in a I need to see you type of environment. Mind you, but if I go diagonally across the floor, you get to see everything I did from beginning to end. The problem is that when you have two different generations underneath the same roof skating at two different etiquettes, remember the old school, they are so in sync that they don't even have to look at anybody else, because they know what lane they're in, nobody's gonna pass them, and they ain't passing nobody. If anybody's gonna be next to them, they're gonna be the same speed. That's it, that's all. You kind of get what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, hate to say it, most of their heads are down, so they don't see anybody coming from the middle. Mind you, the all new school is doing, I picked this gap last lap. I saw that you were going at this speed, I have enough speed and momentum to beat you before you get to the other end. So if I thread the needle because I'm young and stupid, whatever the case is, knowing that some of the older skaters ain't got the reflexes like they used to, you know, where the quick stopping, spinning off of something. Hey, I'm gonna talk about it. That's why we're here. But if they get cut off, then they're like, oh, this new school, they messing up my vibe, whatever the case is. But you know, on certain events where we have bigger skate parties, everybody's a lot more aware of what's going on because they understand. But when old school, when they have their session, they expect their session to go their way, and anybody else that doesn't fall in line with that, they're outcasted. You kind of get what I'm saying? New school sessions. Any old school person that comes to a new school session, if they want to do their old school, we'll respect them depending on who they are. You know, depending on their work, depending on who they are, we'll respect them. We'll be aware. But most of the time, it's like, yo, you're the one that's going to be like, man, they so fast. Get out the way then, because this is our session. So that's why we had to, you know, segregate them the way that we did. I don't know if that answers any of it. Don't say nothing.
Saying that, is there anything you all would like to see change or evolve in the Chicago skating community?
Who wants to go first? Not you.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock,
Talk
paper,
too long.
scissors.
You okay, Josh?
What you gonna change, man? Tell them what you gonna change.
You gonna check? One thing I would like to see change. It's something you just spoke on. Old school skate with old school, new school skate with new school. But in other cities, like for me that I DJ in Milwaukee, the old school skate with the young ones. They respect each other. They might not like each other. But I know for right now that I can say in the Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha area, just say Milwaukee as a whole, both generations skate together because everybody doesn't have sessions like Chicago. Chicago, you can skate every day of the week, multiple times on some days. We're spoiled. Milwaukee, or even Indianapolis, that's Skateland. They got 2 sessions. One skating ring may just have 1 session. And it's not called hip hop night, it's not called JB night, it's what they used to call R&B night. And that's what they call it all over the nation. It's called R&B night or soul night. I want to see Chicago at least come together like that. They're so separated with old school, middle school, new school. Now the crazy thing is most skaters don't even know what school I am. Sorry, Free. I'm not old school, I'm middle school. Because I started skating right before the remixes came out. But at the same time, I'm a musician by nature. So in 8th grade, I'm 12 years old playing Coltrane. I'm playing Theodis Monk. So skating the JBs or James Brown, Bootsy Collins, Parliament, Bernard Wright, all these different artists with this music is still new to me. So for me, I just like to see a combination of a skate session where old school, middle school, new school, we can vibe together. Go ahead. You got something to say, Calvin? That's what I want to see. And if you flailing the arms, Josh.
Hey, man, I'm outside.
Go ahead, Calvin.
Well, he touched on everything that I would really just like to say. I like to see us all skate together. That's all. I mean, we shouldn't have separate sessions. In my time, we never had separate sessions. The only thing that we do that nobody else do in the entire United States is we force those new skaters off the rail. Yeah, we don't want them in our way. Get out of our way. Y'all can't skate. Get out of our way. So, but the rail was designed for the new skater. If you don't know that, it was designed for the new skater. It was designed so that they can hold on to the rail and walk around the rink, make it around the rink. That's what it was set there for. It wasn't set there to keep you from rolling on the carpet. You see 87, they ain't got a carpet. You got a rail. So it was designed for that. We changed that in Chicago only. We changed that in Chicago, and the places that are trying to be like us, sometimes Milwaukee, trying to be like us, They changed that so they want all the new skaters to go in the middle. Well, they can't stand up. How can they go in the middle with nothing there to hold on to if they can't stand up? So you want to take the chance of risking them going to the middle, falling, breaking the ankle, or they just their whole body out there on the floor, you know, because you want the rail, because you can skate already, okay? The rail was always designed for the new skater. It was designed that way. That's the way it was set up. So we have to understand that. All I want is if we have a remix, JB, whatever you want to call it, session, if you're over the age of 21, you should be welcome. Sometimes our old schoolers distract them, tell them you can't come here, so they raise the age to 35. Then they raise it to 40. They want to raise to everything but what it is. Adult session is an adult session. It's 21 and older. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't want to skate with the kids all the time either. But if we all rolling together, we vibing together, that's the way we're supposed to do. We have to learn to coexist in the skate world, and most of our people don't want to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much everywhere. So we have to, take that back, because it's not. Because everywhere you go in the United States, everywhere you go, an adult session is 18 and older. 18 and older. We got the only place that want to make it 25 and older just to keep that JB, because that remix JB skater is in that 16 like 22. Can't make it. And they're going to card you to death. That's the only time they'll card you, when they know you are doing all your little moves and everything. And it's good skating, guys. It's not bad skating. It's good skating. But we got to learn to coexist. And that's the one thing, the one area that we have not touched on ever. And we need to start really touching on it. This school will bash that school will bash that school. We all just skaters. That's all we are. It's just skaters. And we have to learn to coexist. And if you don't allow it to happen, now you got sessions where you got 200 people here and you got 200 people over here. You got one place open over here, one place open over here. Different age brackets, okay? Adult skating, that's all it really is. But it's still different age brackets. But what if you just shut down one and put everybody together? Now you got the businesses growing, but everybody's so thirsty for the money until they want to segregate it and make it 25 and older, 21 under, whatever the case may be, instead of putting all the money together. So we have to figure that out. And it probably won't be figured out in my lifetime, but it should be, but it's not.
Real quick, just to touch on that, there's majority of the rinks that our culture supports are private owned. So they depend on bodies being in the building, and all of the money doesn't necessarily just come from birthday parties. A lot of it comes from the patronage of our adult nights. So every rink is clamoring for the business, which is why sometimes we got to have multiple nights open. And our rinks are starting to get petty now. Our rink owners are starting to get petty now, where they're like, well, you know what, we're going to have 27 and older. What, 27? That's like, what random number is that? One thing that I would like to see different now that we are currently working on, and everybody's doing it individually, first off, is if we had more unity. And one thing that I would see, if we had incentives or something to work towards. Every other aspect in roller skating has some type of sponsorship or money behind it. Roller derby, sponsorship. Speed skating, sponsorship. X Games, sponsorship. Artistic skating, sponsorship. Jam skating, the breakdance skating, sponsorship. We are the most viewed, most imitated, most liked, most loved, most everything with no money behind it. We fund ourselves. You think about it. We're in the Golden Dome and about to have a whole jam session downstairs from out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's funded by, our own people. You know what I'm saying? Or our own people. Somebody took the initiative, but there's no outside source that is funding what it is that we're doing. So it's us skaters that are out here on social media that are trying to do something in the industry are trying our best to draw enough attention to a company like Nike. Hey, invest in our community, invest in not just our rinks, but invest in, I know they are, but right now, that's the problem. See, one thing is that companies are looking for following. whoever got the biggest following or social media presence. They could be, can I be honest? There's a lot of skaters that are out here on social media with huge followings that are dope, that I've battled face to face, that do not want to see us for real. They don't want to, skill-wise, they don't want to see us. Nothing. I'm telling you, the skaters that they present themselves on social media, I've seen them in person, live. They will not even come in the middle if I'm standing there. They won't even do it. Not just me, but the real skaters when we show up, whatever the case is. A lot of that is for show. So when companies are looking for brand ambassadors and thinking that their following is going to help influence other, it's not like that, because eventually when it trickles down, they're buying all these things, or they're using the skater as a brand ambassador, and they're saying, oh, this and that. Well, can you go out here and do this and that? And they come to find out they really are not who they say they are. You kind of get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So one thing, it would be a avenue for skaters to work their tails off, just like anything else. If you play ball as a little kid, your dream is to make it to the NBA. If you play football, you should work your way up to the NFL. If we had some type of incentivized something to work our way up towards, you know what I'm saying? At first, it was just the Rydell sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? So if we could work our way up to something, I think that would be a dramatic change where you would actually get to separate, or not even separate. You would be able to have people, when they come in here, they'd be able to figure out what their avenue or what their path is. So many people come into the rink just lost. Some people come into the rink so scared where they take one fall. That's it. Nope. That's it for me. I'm done.
Why are you looking at me, ma'am?
But that's what it is. So at least they can have the choice if they want to work towards something. But again, we pay $10 to make a left all night for our emotional wellness. That's basically it, and we do it every other day. So if we had something, we're working on the Olympics. We're working on incentives. We're working on, it eventually will be.
Well,
I know it is.
Back when, in the 70s, we had a little incentive program. It was Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
We used to skate for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola had big skate contests at all of the roller rinks, and we used to enter in these contests, and the contest would take you from, just say, Indiana to Chicago is linked, okay? And we would pick one roller rink. They would pick one roller rink, and we would come to the contest, wherever it may be, Roller Kingdom or wherever, or Screamer Wheels. And so we would compete there with all the other hundreds of skaters. Then after that, we would go to Cincinnati, Ohio, and we would compete against the Midwest, the best in the Midwest. And the contest would end up in California. That was back in the day. It was a lot of incentive to practice and get ready for it. It was every year. This contest came up every year. So it gave us incentive to practice and be good. And people were getting ready for just that contest. And that was our incentive back in the 70s. But all that fell by the wayside in the early 80s, like 81, 82. That went away. And there was no more incentive to actually do a lot of things. But we created our own thing. But then, too, we got to remember, and I hope I don't offend nobody, but as we skate, we took this from Lincoln, Nebraska. Skating was originated in Lincoln, Nebraska, okay, first off, roller skating, okay? So we took this and took it to another level, meaning blacks, okay? Or every Hispanic and everybody, we're all linked into the same group, okay? Understand that, okay? We took it to a whole nother level, and so now people looked at us and said, they ain't got no toe stoppers on, but they got them little things underneath there, but they can't stop. We figured out other ways of stopping. We figured out other ways of doing other things. We figured out how to get on our toes, how to get on our heels, and dance with it, and do all these little things. Big wheeling and crazy legs, nothing, no parts don't mean anything to a JB skater. That was long before JB skating ever came about. It's not in your JB skating. This was before. So we took all these things and created these things and put it out there. Now they looking at us like, wow, they doing something foreign. So a lot of times we couldn't get in these roller rinks because we had a certain kind of wheel. California, fiberglass wheels. Now you can't skate in here. No, no, no. And so, and if you had anything but the little hard edge wheels, the wooden wheels, you couldn't skate. That was their way of keeping us out. So once they started accepting us because green is better than black, okay, they started accepting that green, then they started letting us in. And after that, they started setting up roadblocks for us. Roadblocks. You come down Halsted Street, and there's about 4 buses, 10 tow trucks, 20 or 30 police cars just sitting there on the side of the road in a little plaza. And they pull every car over. It's road check. They check your license and your safety sticker. It wasn't insurance back then. Nobody had insurance back then. You know, so they check you because they was hoping to start, and they only check the beginning of skating and at the end of skating. So we would be coming, and on skate day, we all had skate days. So they would check you out and make sure that you were right. If you weren't right, you got out that car, got on that bus, tow truck came and took your car and run off with it and took it to the yard. So this is a way of distracting us from coming to do what we do. And so after we learned that, we sent one person, a lame duck, that just had everything right. You know, everybody ain't always right. And so we sent him down there. And if he called back and said, it's all good, you know, then we all come down that way. But if it wasn't, we had to figure out another way to get there or get home. So it was always distractions for us, but never any money or funds for us to roller skate because they never put money into this. They put money in ice skating, always put it in ice skating. Major money's in ice skating. It's in the Olympics. It's been in the Olympics forever. Your jam skating, it's been there. All this speed skating, it's been there. It's gonna always be there. But our skating, our style of skating is just coming. It's just coming. But we've been there forever, but it's just coming. But there's no money involved in it yet or vested into us yet because they really don't want to put it. So they send people into our community and they take our stuff and they run with it and go make money off of us. That's why I don't agree with the documentary. I didn't like it. And I told the producers, I told the directors, I told the writers. It was not good because they treated us like circus monkeys. We did all the tricks. We did all the, do that again. We did all those things for them to make millions off of us. They made millions off of us. And then they took it and they sold it to John Legend. John Legend made millions off of it. John Legend sold it to HBO and made more millions off of us, the circus monkeys. And we have to stop doing all this free stuff that people make money off of us because we're not clowns. Okay, so we have to do these things, and we have to do it with it. Don't be so quick to jump on camera. You know, when somebody come around with a camera, don't be so quick to jump on camera because they film. You're not going nowhere with that. And then they take your move and take it back to their community and make money off of you because all they got to do is learn just that one little trick, and then they put it on YouTube, get 1 million views, and they done made money off of you. You don't even know it. So we have to stop that.
They trigger us because we know that we're young, we want to be famous, we want to do something, we want to be known for something, we want to represent our community, and they're like, well, this is the avenue. It got me.
Yeah, so when we do these shows at some of these clubs and stuff, we do a lot of shows right here in Chicago, like Untitled and places like that. Our skate group, our skate group. We do a lot of shows, entertainment shows, very entertaining. And it's on stages that a skater we've taken skaters with us sometimes and let them perform with us. They fell all over the place. It was so bad, it was ridiculous. So we can't do that. Everybody can't perform. Everybody skates, but can't perform. You know, when it's time to perform. You know, so we've taken skaters with us, but when we want to take skating outside of the roller rink. And this is outside the rolling. So I commend you guys for just doing this. Anything that's got to do with growing skating has my heart totally, you know. And so we can do this. We'll do this because this is something that's going to help roller skating. We're all up against the clock. I'm up against the clock more than most, okay? So we're trying to get to a certain area before, we get too old to do it, okay? So this is our thing to promote skating. And you all are helping us do my dream.
Thank you all so much. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I think we have a couple minutes left, and I have a couple questions I still want to get through. The first is, who are some of y'all's role models and people you look up to? But before I get to that, Calvin, I have a specific question for you. You being such an icon in the community, a lot of times we like to give people their flowers when they transition, but you're here. What does that feel like?
I don't think he recognized it.
It's actually the best feeling in the world because I get a chance to see a lot of my fruit grow from my tree, from my tree. And I look at a lot of skaters. I watch a lot of skaters a lot of times, and I just watch them roll, and I can stand over there and just smile, look at them as they roll, it's something. And, you don't get the recognition, but I don't look for recognition. I don't care about it. What I care about is my people growing. White, black, green, and blue, they grow. And we haven't had one person fail the class. Not one person, ever. So we, it's good. It's good. It's really good.
Your work that you're doing.
Yes, it's good.
And so who are some of your role models and
I
people
only
that
have
you
one.
look up? Okay, one.
have
Okay.
Big John. Big John is a guy he been around forever. He just passed about 4 years ago. Big John is like, when we had skate competitions back in the day, and I'm talking about my time, when we had the major skate contests, it wasn't to see who's the best. It was who could be Big John. That was it. And if Big John he was like the epitome of roller skating. Now, a lot of people don't know him, but he was the man. He was the man, and now that he's passed, nobody will ever see what he was like, because I had that luxury of seeing him, and being around him, being in his eyes, and he helped me grow, and he was the man. That was it.
Okay. I have a question for everyone. So, for adults and kids interested in getting into roller skating, photography, DJing, media, creative arts, what is some advice that you all have for them?
Well, as far as roller skating, now that we're in a place where we've figured out pretty much majority of the blueprint of where we came from to how we are, I say you come to one of us, come to the rink, speak to one of us specifically, have your questions. And it's not necessarily about getting to do something, but remember that we're chasing a feeling. So there is a blueprint. So, we'll consult you on what skates to buy, where to go. We'll ask you questions and ask questions, basically. Go to the places and ask questions. So skill has nothing to do with ability, and your investment dictates your experience. So I'll say that.
But beware of the classes. There are a lot of
beware of the
classes out here. I just have to quickly say that.
If
There's
any-
a lot of classes out
If
here.
any of your instructors
and
are giving
most
you
of 'em are bad.
choreography, bro, as a lesson, if you got instructors that are giving you choreography as a lesson, that should be red flag number one.
Yeah.
Red flag number two is if you ask your instructor to do it on the right and the left leg and they can only do it one way, that's red flag number two. Kind of get what I'm saying?
Or if they're not, don't have skates on at all, and they trying to instruct you on how to skate.
Yeah.
And how
it's not
to,
gonna happen.
there are a couple
No.
like that, okay, right now, to this day. There are. And most of the things that we're telling, we give you, in my classes at the rink, we give you red flags.
Red flags.
So that you don't get caught up. Because there's a lot of classes out here coming up off of you. In our classes, we make that money, and we make that money for the rink. We don't make it for our pockets, to line our pockets. We make it for the rink, because it's our give back to the skate community. So when you see these other classes, sign up, do this. Now, one-on-ones now, I want all these teachers to make their money. That's important for them because when we do our group lessons everywhere, that's our give back to the community. So if you can get a one-on-one with different people, you go ahead and do that as long as you're a good teacher. But there's only about 3, maybe 4 good teachers out here. And that's sad because there's a lot of classes out here and they give you the glamour on Facebook. You look on there and you see that, sign up for my classes right now. And they give you a move, they rolling around the rink, you be like, ooh, I want to do that. You really don't.
No.
You really don't.
Anytime you go into the rink and they're giving you choreography, is that you skating? Or are you only, because you've been drilling this choreography for so long, when you get in the rink, you're only doing what you remember? None of that is you. You know, so that's why I'm so grateful for like the lessons at the rink and the lessons that I teach. It's all about what it is that you feel. Search the feeling and not the movement. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, ask questions. There's always there's a million different ways to get to the same place, and really do what's best for you and your comfortability. Everybody's different. People are pigeon-toed, bow leg, knock knee, bad back, bad ankles, fallen arches, corns, bunions. Factor everything about you in to make yourself. I'm no better than any one of you right now. I'm just comfortable. It's a difference. You kind of get what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a whole different mindset when it comes to this thing. So that's a tip.
To kind of tie in both questions, I think for anyone that would want to be, you know, a photographer, a documenter of the culture, is to start with where you are. I don't think you'll ever have more authority than in the spaces that you naturally reside, right? The places that you call home. You're a resident, it's yours, right? So anytime I start to feel like an outsider because I'm in like a new area, for example, coming back to Indianapolis, I've been living here for 11 years, but home has become more and more like a distant star since my father and his sister died. So I don't have that home, like that physical home, the physical space to come home to, right? I know it's home, right? In theory, like it's home, but it don't feel like home. It's not the home I remember or recall. The fact that the rink has become that for me, the fact that now I time my trips home around, well, Tuesday, kitty roll, right? Thursday, old school roll, and then Sunday, right? So that becomes my landing pad now, right? That becomes an extension of home. And remembering that I am home, this is the rink I grew up skating in, right? I have authority here. You know what I mean? I have permission to be here, right? And the permission that they have through the ritual, through the ceremony, through, as y'all said, the etiquette, right? Like I'm like, where else do I belong if not here? You know? And I'm black, so, you know, I'm gonna always be where black folks at. But if I listen to outside like narratives about the rink, you know, there's always that thing about, and I don't know if this was the case in Chicago, but it used to go down at the rink in the lot. Usually not in the rink, but usually in the lot afterwards, right? You had a lot of, yeah, exactly. It was always the people who knew there would be folk there, right? And they would come, so then the stigma, and then security, then there's an event, then they use that to shut the rink down, then they reopen, then there's more measures. That whole rhythm had been going around, so by the time I found out the rink was even a thing, I was shocked, because I just thought they had all, you know, shut down over the years. But just to tie in this other question around celebrity, around role models, to me, that there's such a singularity in the culture. The way you look at like a flock of birds and you don't see a bird like as an individual, you just see the swarm. You know, you see the dance, and I experience, I think, the rink in that way. And because I do, I think any and everyone who's a part of that is special to me, right? I don't know enough about skating to say, oh, I'm gonna focus on this one person with this skill, right? Or I come in and say, oh, I'm gonna just focus on, you know, all the slim, pretty women or something. You know, like it ain't that. It's literally anyone who can get the courage, right, to get out there with their burden, with what they carrying, right, with all those things they need to release and put it on wheels. You a hero to me, right? You a hero to me, and I desire to reach that level of liberation and safety Right. So yeah, that's what I had to share.
Role models. This thing on. Hello. Okay. Role models for me. That's a little bit hard for me. Being a DJ and a skater. I guess let's start with the skater. There's a man named Jeff Carpenter. He stays in Vegas now, AKA Silk. Skinny dude. I'm big. Right now I'm skating just like the Free said on the last panel. It's health. It's cardio. I was 345 pounds when I first started skating. And I was shorter. I don't know how I got taller. I guess they say stretched out, slimmed down. But trying to keep up with his skinny 145-pound butt around that floor, I lost weight. It helps. It's one to a person that has size. The weight comes off. It does. You don't pay attention because you having so much fun. You having so much fun. But to a person with size, I lost weight. That's where the confidence come in, like Josh said. This aura of, shut up. You just been eating. Oh, okay. It's her fault. Okay. Then there's another role model, a brother named Sam. The biggest role model of them all is a man named Darius, Big D. The brother was about 400 pounds. Calvin, you remember Big D? Yeah, he in Cali. That man would go a turtle speed around that floor. Just say we got size. That's skating for me. Mentors, anybody I look to for DJing. DJ Dennis the Menace, DJ Spank, DJ Phantom. There were a lot of DJs in and out of the skate culture for me and even Calvin, who gave his confidence for me. Like I said, I still want to thank you, trendsetters. Calvin, once again, and I told you in private, but I'm going to tell you publicly, and I'm on camera. And a lot of people, I hope these other DJs and these other promoters in these other cities for these skate things know that I DJ'd the National Party Chicago 2001, 2002. I was a rookie. You saw something in me back then. But they forget about me on the national scene now. And shout out to Miss Sherry Poindexter. We ain't get to talk about that tomorrow, though. We gonna have discussions about this later. And then my thing about it is, if it's to anybody that wants to start DJing, get into it for the right reasons. Don't get into it for popularity. I love music. Music is in me. Excuse me. Music. If it wasn't for DJing and music, music gives me power. Music gives me strength, and I ain't talking about muscles. I do it for all the right reasons. People try to discredit me. But I am the DJ. I was a preschool teacher. I was a teacher. I'm always going to be a teacher. Anybody, and I can say this right now on camera, anybody want to learn how to DJ and want to do it for the right reasons, I'm going to show you that passion. And rivers run deep with my passion. So that's just me. It's been different DJs, but it's literally the ones that are right there with you that give you the most influence that you look at. and you try to pattern yourself after them teachers until you become your own. And that's what I did. That's why I do this. That's why I love this. And I will never stop. I'll be in a wheelchair DJing. I don't care. I don't care how I can have a walker. I'm going to borrow Calvin's after he done with it. And I'm going to be still spinning these tunes later. But once again, like I said, skating, music, this culture right here in Chicago is like no other. And I dare anybody to test that theory.
I want to thank our panelists for taking the time today. Before we conclude, first of all, I want to say I don't mind if we cut into HP Skate Meetup time because this is history in the making right now. So we're prioritizing this, first and foremost. Second of all, before we conclude, I want to give you all the opportunity to share any social media, websites where people can find you, learn more about you, talk to you if interested, and getting more in depth into roller skating, DJing, or photography and journalism. So I want to give you all that time.
Okay. My name is Calvin Small first. It's two Calvin Smalls, my son, and then it's me. Okay, so you'll see me on Facebook, YouTube. We got our own page, Gladiator Skate Company, which is GLIDE, the number 8 ORZ, Skate Company. That's the name of our group. We're the Gladiators. When you see us around somewhere, or if you hear about us being around somewhere, we're doing our thing. That's us doing our thing. So that's how you reach out to me. Even, I don't even care if you call. I mean, if you pick up the phone and call 312-659-9306, you can always pick up the phone and call me. If I don't answer, you can text me. It doesn't matter. But I will get to you. And if you really want to get into roller skating, all you have to do is reach out. Reach out.
My name is Joshua Smith. My Instagram handle is Josh_Batsmoke, BATSMOKE. I am the owner of Batsmoke Entertainment. That's www.batsmokeent.com. And I offer private lessons. I'm also a gladiator. That's my performance crew and family. I'm also a trendsetter, which is my international crew and family. I'm a Suicide King here in Chicago, which is my Chicago crew and family. I'm also part of the news crew, which is my battle crew and family. And if you ever want anything, you can always reach out to me. My number is whatever Calvin's number is. So don't call me. Use one of those platforms. Love you guys. Peace.
Okay, anybody looking for me on social media, let's see, you can reach me on Instagram. My name is DJ Bam Chicago. It's going to be I think I got about 3 different pages. On Facebook, my name is Brandon Maddox. I don't mind that. I don't hide behind my, shut up. I don't hide behind my DJ name. If you know my personal name, that means it's just what it is. I'm proud of my name. My father named me that. I don't care. And so is my son. So there's gonna be two Brandon Maddoxes on Facebook. One is Junior. I'm Senior. So you can find me anywhere. Also, if you don't remember trying to find my government name, you can also find me under DJ Bam. I have a professional page on there also. So if you want to find me, come find me. I know how you got Bam is from falling. He's playing. He's playing. Trust me, a big guy falling is hard to get up. Shut up.
Seed Lynn, like Johnny Apple, and then Lynn LYNN. So that's me on social, Instagram, Facebook, seedlynn.com. I don't have any of my skating work online or published in any way right now. Part of my practice, because narrative justice is a thing, as Calvin nodded to with the doc, is that you return the stories back to the people who give them to you first. right? There's an order of operations to it. So I'm not in any rush to try to monetize what I'm doing or figure. I'm trying to be informed by the folks who are in these images. How does this want to live? We want to do murals. We try and do. Y'all want your faces on T-shirts. Y'all want to do skate apparel. What do y'all want to do? Where do you want to see? Do we want to put this on buildings? Where does this live? So I'm still figuring that out, and we're in those conversations right now to figure out how we exhibit this. But if you do reach out, that said, I can share some of the portfolios that are online that I've shared with them. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I forgot one little thing, guys. I did do a roller skating book, okay? It's how to roller skate, okay? The name of the book, you're the first ones to ever see it. This is just the front cover. This is called I Roller Skate, okay? This is the first volume. That's the first pair of skates there. This is the first volume of it, okay? I have 26 volumes of it. It takes you to your toes, to your heels, everything that you want to do on your roller skates. And these are the things that we do. We do a lot of things. We have a roller skating game also. The Gladiators have a roller skating game that's coming out. The book is coming out in July, but it's going to be done at Black Wall Street in September 9th. September 9th. Okay, and 10th, I believe, right? Just 9th? Okay. So we have it coming out at Black Wall Street, but you all are right now the very first people to ever see it, and it took a little while to design. Inside of the book, it teaches you how to roller skate, and it's going to give you illustrations. It's going to give you everything that you need. I was going to do it, put it online and stuff like that as far as YouTube it, but you know what? I'd rather you just get it in the book so you have a keepsake. I'd like for you to have some kind of keepsake of it, okay? So this is coming out, like I said, I'm pushing for July. I'm going to be doing pre-sales and starting in June, and everybody will get their book. In July, it's going to be a signing at Black Wall Street, okay? So you guys keep your ears open.
I'd like to thank our panelists today, Calvin Small, Josh Batsmoke Smith, DJ Bam, and Lynn for joining us today on this beautiful Saturday. I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I think up next we have the skate workshop that Josh will be leading. I am Justine Ingram. I'm going to plug the HP Skate Meetup real quick. You can follow us on Facebook, HP Skate Meetup, and then on Instagram, HP_skates_meets. And then Passion, I also want to let you plug your stuff too.
You can find me on social media, Instagram, Flamin' Hot Cheese, Facebook, Passion Jackson. Also, Love a Girl Skate Club, that's my organization too. Also, I do just want to take a personal thank you to you. I want to give you your space. You gave me this space to shine. She was supposed to be up here, but she decided to make space for me. So I just want to give a thank you for that. I didn't feel right letting that go unnoticed, because that's important. That is what we need. We need people who are willing to be like, this ain't really my space, and I'm going to give my opportunity to somebody who, that's important. That's really important. So yeah, shout out to that.
And just to plug, she's talking about Jessica, which is our co-organizer for HP Skate Meetup. So with that, if everybody, we're gonna in the gym, right? Yes.